Corrine Brown matters! We love you, Corrine!
Say to your constituents, Congresswoman, a very big day for you.
Making some statements. We will be making some statements.
Why don't you all get organized rather than swooping?
We're feeling wonderful. If you would like us to make some statements, we will. Follow the rules and we'll talk to you. Don't follow the rules and we'll walk away. That's how we are.
Where and when?
Okay, Congressman.
Right
We're not going
now.
to be answering your questions, so don't ask.
All right. Can you move them back just a tad? I see you're all there.
We can get in the car and leave however y'all want to plan. Back up a bit, please, sir. Thank you, sir.
It is ironic that we are speaking in front of the Brian Simpson Federal Courthouse, for which Congresswoman Brown was instrumental in securing funding for. The construction of this very courthouse is but one of the many, many projects which have been completed in this community because of the efforts of the Congresswoman. The proceedings being held today do not come as a surprise to anyone in this community. From the moment the grand jury began its investigation, the government and its willing participants have willfully ignored the legal mandate of grand jury secrecy and have intentionally disclosed confidential information to the media and others. Congresswoman Brown is the subject of an indictment today, but in reality, she has endured a one-sided inquisition in the court of public opinion for over 1 year. Certainly, the timing of the government's demand that Congresswoman Brown appear today is, at minimum, troubling. We were advised by the government mere days ago that we must make arrangements for proceedings to occur today or that she would be arrested.
In Washington.
Even though the government was fully aware the House of Representatives is in session. Congresswoman Brown agreed to fully comply with the government's outlined procedures for turning herself in. She requested only one accommodation, that the turn-in be scheduled until next week when the House of Representatives would no longer be in session and no votes would be taken. Given the length of time that the Congresswoman has been under investigation, as has been so publicly reported, such request was not unreasonable. Yet the government refused to offer any accommodation so Congresswoman Brown could cast critical votes in Congress. During this time, at least 17 pieces of legislation were scheduled to be debated and voted upon. Other important pieces of legislation likely to come up were votes on gun control, immigration, the federal aviation extension, defense authorization, the Zika virus, and a health care bill on opioids. As a direct result of the government's arbitrary insistence that Congresswoman Brown appear today, and today only, or else she will not be able to vote on many, if not all, of these matters. The government's unreasonable demand not only interfered with her duties as a legislator, but it also needlessly deprived the 700,000 plus citizens in her district a vote. The government's refusal to honor this request did nothing to advance the interest of justice, yet did much to harm the democratic process. Its decision to treat Congresswoman Brown like a common street criminal rather than a sitting member of Congress shows that this is a politically motivated prosecution. The manner in which the government has handled these proceedings leads to the inescapable conclusion that it desires to improperly influence the upcoming election and undermine the legislative process. It is disheartening that while nearly 90% of black voters in Duval County are being disenfranchised in the local state attorney and public defender races, and while one of the few congressional districts in the state that has ever elected a black candidate is being carved into 6 pieces, this community's tireless advocate has been indicted. As terrorists walk free because of the incompetence of the very agency who headed this investigation, That same agency insists on expending the taxpayers' limited resources, hounding prominent black leaders here and throughout the country. Perhaps had it chosen to devote its resources more thoughtfully, 50 innocent people would be alive today. Make no mistake, the actions of the government will be under as much scrutiny at this trial as the alleged conduct of the Congresswoman. We will fight to ensure that the core values of the criminal justice system are not undermined, and that Congresswoman Brown's constitutional rights are honored and respected. We look forward to the opportunity to vindicate the Congresswoman who has fought and will continue to fight tirelessly for her constituents.
Congresswoman, are you?
We will now take brief comments.
My name is Bishop Rudolph McKissick Jr. I am Congresswoman Brown's pastor. I stand here not to be political, but to be spiritual. Congresswoman Brown has known me all of my life, so I don't just stand here as her spiritual leader, but I stand here as someone who has been friends with her daughter since we were 5 years old. She has been a voice for the voiceless, a liberator for those who have been oppressed. She has fought tirelessly for those beyond race, creed, nationality, and religion. I'm saddened that we have come to this point. I stand here not only as a counselor, but as an intercessor. We stand by her. We pray with her. We pray for her. My only ask is that as the media, you do what the judge said. She is presumed innocent until proven guilty. Pray for her as I pray with her.
We will now take some brief comments from Reverend Sampson.
For the last 24 years, Congresswoman has served up the district in such an awesome way. Whether it be health care, transportation, Medicare, homeless, whatever. She has been a champion for those who have been left out. She has represented her district very, very well. Let me just say this. An indictment is certainly not a conviction. For the last 3 or 4 years, we've seen maybe 30 or 40 officers who've been indicted for killing young black African-American men. None of them have been convicted. So I want to say to all of our constituencies, don't panic over the indictment. She has not been convicted.
Congresswoman, what's your mind right now?
Congresswoman, did you commit fraud?
Back just a little bit. I'm gonna talk to you. Just back a little bit. I'm not gonna run.
Up or we're leaving. I'm telling you better listen to me. Trust me, we will walk out of here if you don't listen and give us the courtesy we're begging you for. As you stand there and shake your head and stick the microphone in our face, that is kind of hypocritical, don't you think?
Let her speak.
I do want to speak to you. First of all, let me just say that I really do believe that the work I've done speak for me. And, you know, I have been, my heart is just really heavy. This has been a very difficult time for me, my family, my constituents. But I'm looking forward to a speedy day in court to vindicate myself. I mean, I no way feel like this is just the beginning. The community has been praying, but my attorneys are here, and we will present the other side. It used to be a program on TV, and here is the rest of the story. We got the rest of the story. So I'm looking forward to presenting the rest of the story. This courthouse right here, Ed Austin came to me and asked me to secure the funds for this courthouse, over $100 million. I secured it, and I want to mention that I got the funds for it, and I called a meeting, and I talked to the contractor that was building this courthouse, and I just want to know what was their plans for minority inclusion. The next day, Fed investigators went out all over, and what happened? This courthouse is built with no minority participation. So keep it in mind That has been the history of this district. The district that we stand in today. I represent Orlando. These are